Welcome to episode 34 of the Under Seasoned BBQ Show. And Sigh?
Not Sigh.
You're not Sigh?
Definitely not Sigh.
Jess Pryles.
Hi.
You're filling in.
I am. I'm doing the duty.
Okay. Well, I'm a bit stumped, but normally I say to Sigh, what's in this episode? So what is?
Well, coming up in this episode, we've got From Poker to Pork Belly, a top 50 wrap-up, Bark or Burnt, Modular Outdoor Kitchens, and we're going to check the mailbox.
Cool. All right. Well, I guess we just jump into it with the fuck up of the week.
Hey.
Do you kind of have you watched an episode before? Do you know how they work?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
I've seen your face a lot.
All right. So I will mumble my way through this and you have to carry me because that's what Sigh does.
Done.
Okay. Let's start off with the fuck up of the week. Now, you're an animal lover.
Yes.
This is going to test how much of an animal lover you are.
I love eating them, but I also do love animals, and you can be both. So let's see it.
All right. Well, this might mix the two together. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. I want you to tell me what's happening here.
That dog's about to have the best day of its life. I'm a bit worried about his paws, but I'm also excited for his stomach because he knows what's up. Oh, go on. Go, good boy.
So this was posted by Tim O'Leary and he says, has anyone tried smoked dog? It's tempting after today's effort. This cook on the barbecue here, oh no.
Oh, look, you can see it's steaming hot. I hope that poor guy didn't get any burns. See, he knows. He knows it. Oh no, he's scared from the foil. Get in there.
So the video cuts off there. He says that this was a full leg of ham and it was 7 hours into the cook and it was almost ready.
Well, whose fault is that? Hang on, why are you finishing a cook with the lid open on that?
I think maybe he was letting it rest. I don't know.
I don't know. Oh, look, frankly, I'm on Team Dog for this one. Like, that dog deserves all of the joy. Are you sure it's not lamb?
It does look like that. He says it was a full leg of ham, but maybe it's a full leg of... But why would you cook a leg of ham like that? I don't know.
I don't know, because some people double smoke it by putting it... You certainly wouldn't put it in there for 7 hours, I'll tell you that much. Did the dog actually manage to eat the whole thing, or did you just floor it?
I think it was a little bit too hot for him. He got scared, but he looked like he was committed to coming back in and trying some.
Yeah, see, my staffy would have just, like, burnt her mouth eating that already. There would have been no pausing whatsoever, but Team Dog all the way.
All right, well, let's move on to our photos of the week. And this one's a little bit unusual here. This one was posted by Wax Manic, and they say this is a 32-ounce USDA prime Angus tomahawk with 1.5 pounds of boiled Maine lobster.
This looks like a fancy steakhouse, like very classic steakhouse plate.
Chops Grill. Have you ever heard of it before?
Never.
So Chops Grill is the default steakhouse on a cruise ship. Royal Caribbean cruise ship, right?
That's a cruise ship steak.
It's a cruise ship steak. So if you've ever been on a Royal Caribbean ship and you've been to Chops Grill, it's pretty good. Like, I've had some of the best steaks of my life at that place.
That looks pretty decent. I'm not here for the sear marks. I like a more consistent sear, but I'd be curious to know what it looks like on the inside. Oh, that looks really respectable.
Does, doesn't it?
It really. So is this going to be inclusive on a cruise?
No, so it's extra. So
Okay.
Normally speaking, it's about another 40, maybe 35 USD extra to get into the restaurant. And then if you wanted 2 lobsters, you're probably going to have to pay for them because I didn't see any dishes come with a great steak like that and lobsters. So I think this might be a special treat. But
How do you feel about surf and turf?
Yeah, like if it's if it's free, like sometimes when you do these cruise ship packages, they throw in the special menu, and if you kind of make friends with the waiters, well, yeah, you're like, can I have 2 lobsters? And they're like, yeah, like they don't want to say no.
Right.
So I have been
Because they want the tip.
Well, correct. They want the tip, right?
Just
so
the
I've been
tip.
on a cruise ship before where it was lobster night.
Okay.
And the waiter has come up to me and said, what do you want for, I think appetizer is what they call it in America.
Yeah.
We call it entrees. But what do you want for your appetizer? And I said, the grilled lobster. And they're like, okay, what do you want for your main? I'm like, 2 grilled lobsters. And they're like, okay, well, what do you want for dessert? And I'm like, lobster. So I had 4 courses of lobster. But it wasn't that good. And then by the time I got to like dessert, I didn't want to eat it. I felt real bad. I told him not to bring it out.
That sounds like you ordering wines on a plane.
Oh, I told you that story, did I?
Yeah.
And I fell
You did?
asleep?
No, you can't remember it.
Okay. We need to move on before I embarrass myself here. What the hell is this?
Is this some kind of new chandelier? What are the pizza boxes doing? What is happening? I like protect your furniture with the furniture covers, but then also have a full chorizo fest in your house.
So it was posted by Fault Big, and he says, "This is my grandpa's homemade chorizo made from all sorts of cuts of meats and then grinded through a processor." Now, what we're looking at here is like temporary clothesline string, and he's hung up the cured, what would you call it?
I mean, this is fresh sausage that I guess that they're going to cure in the traditional way. Like maybe he's got some nitrites in there and he's just dealing with it. But that's natural casing. It looks like caul fat.
How long would you have to hang it up for, do you think?
It depends how stinky he wants it, I guess.
But you did spot it. You spotted it. The pizza boxes are just the drippings of the meat on the floor. And he's got like a towel as well.
Oh, no. Oh, this is, you know what this is? This is artisanal handcrafted sausage. That's what that is.
Well, if you know, watching at home, how long you'd have to hang this up for, I'd like to know. Does someone have to sleep in that bed behind it?
You can't hang that up at all unless you have curing agents in there. Otherwise, all you're going to have is rotten sausages. So he's got to have some sort of cure, unless he's doing traditional salt, but that seems weird. Unless he's refrigerating the room. I don't know. Is it winter?
I don't know.
Have they got the window open?
I just hope no one sleeps in that bedroom.
Imagine someone sleeping underneath with their mouth open just to catch all the fat.
Moving along.
Ooh, that looks amazing.
It does, doesn't it? So this one was posted by Pitmaster Pierce, and it's Wagyu beef short ribs with a chili crisp.
That works. That makes a lot of sense. Short ribs have so much flavour there that you can put something like a chili crisp there that'll hold up to it. But what a pairing. And then you got freshness from a little bit of a pickle situation going on. I'm here for it. I would eat that.
So he says, this is a nod to Hon's Barbecue, where this crazy journey of mine really kicked off, but this is my version of their best-selling Szechuan beef short ribs. Szechuan? Fuck.
Szechuan
beef short ribs.
I can see that. So the Szechuan, the chili crisp probably has some Szechuan peppercorns, which is that stuff that makes your mouth go tingly. There's a Japanese pepper called sancho that does it as well. But it works. It works with the beef. Like, I'm kind of pissed that I didn't think of this myself first, except I already wrote a Szechuan pepper beef rib recipe coming out in my cookbook next year.
Oh, you already wrote it?
Yeah. No, I literally have. I'll show you the timestamp on it.
Okay, it's paired with a super spicy chili crisp, red, black and Szechuan peppers, combined with garlic, oil and a ginger infused oil, topped off with pickles to help cut through that buttery decadence of the Wagyu.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
He says this was mega, and visually I agree.
Yeah, it's a beautiful dish. They play off of each other. He's got a nice smoke ring there, great bark, and all of those flavours would work so well with short rib.
Okay, so all that aside, he mentioned a guy called Hans, and it got me intrigued a little bit. So I went and stalked this Hans Barbecue.
Okay.
And this is the picture that he posted, and it sent me down a rabbit hole. So let me explain, right? He goes, this picture was taken in 2021 at 3 a.m. at the Lodge Poker Club. You can see the chips in the background, right? And he says, a player at my table suggested that I should have my first Texan barbecue experience at Interstellar.
Love Interstellar.
So he's playing poker at 3 o'clock in the morning. The player next to him goes, you should go here. He takes this photo, right?
Yeah.
Now he's a pitmaster.
That's all it took.
I think so. So just to get into it, he says that's how it all started for him. And now this is him. Uncle Hans Barbecue in London in the UK.
I was going to say, Hackney, it seems to be very London-based. I'm also here for the little dog balloon situation. What you're telling me is that this guy is in Austin playing poker or wherever he was,
yep.
And someone's like, hey, you need to try Interstellar because it's top shelf.
Yep.
And he goes, and based off that, he has this life-changing experience that turns him into a pitmaster.
Correct.
Well, I guess John Bates can be really happy.
The plot thickens, right?
Okay.
Not only does he get so inspired by this experience of never having Texan barbecue before, going to Interstellar, being so impressed, obviously, that he comes back and, like us, can't get barbecue out of his head, gets involved in it, becomes a proper commercial pitmaster. He does pop-ups. I don't think he's got a restaurant yet, but he's doing pop-ups.
Okay.
This is the quality of his food.
Can I tell you, immediately, you know, when something's good, there's like 5 things that I immediately want to eat just as that came on screen. I'm desperate to know about, this is obviously Peking duck that's smoked, some kind of Asian cucumber salad, which I think would crush with barbecue on the side. That looks like beef cheeks, bottom right. These look like John's pork belly bites.
They do. So he goes, our ducks are brined for 48 hours, then smoked for 3 hours. We've crisped the skin up perfectly to go with pancakes and our homemade hoisin sauce. Those other things are the Szechuan beef ribs, 8-hour beef cheeks, pulled cumin lamb, and the peach tea pork belly, which I think
which is Interstellar.
Correct, right? And I think that's the nod to Interstellar. But he's come back, got into barbecue, and some of the flavour combinations that he's using is like mind-blowing for somebody who only discovered this, like 4 years ago?
And then if you look at Asian cuisine, particularly Chinese cuisine, you've got a lot of like tea smoked duck and some smoky flavours from some of the like a lapsang souchong or, you know, smoky peppers. And it makes sense to put a lot of these together. But can I just have a bit of a complaint for a moment? I've had some smoked duck. It started to appear back on menus. I'd be pissed if there was this much fat still on the duck.
For me, it depends how it's rendered. If it's rendered perfectly and it melts in your mouth, I'm okay with it. Just like, for example, a picanha, and you get a big chunk of fat on the end, right?
Yep.
If it's not rendered perfectly all the way through, it's unpleasant. The moment that big chunk of fat on the end is just butter in your mouth, you're like, this is the way it's supposed to be. So if he can do that with a duck, I'm all for it. But if it's hard,
I'm excited that he said it was crispy because it gives me hope that that's the case because I'm 100% in agreement with you. I think I'm just a little worried because of how white it looks, whereas generally when that fat renders, it's got more of a yellow or sort of translucent quality to it.
Yep.
But, you know, I tell you what, I'd give it a red hot go.
Yeah, and if I turned up anywhere and this is the barbecue they're serving, I'm coming back.
Look, I'd eat it. I'd definitely give it a shot. I really want to try that Peking.
It's on the radar for the next time I'm in the UK, that's for sure.
Do we want to talk about, like, when is something a homage, an homage, and when are you just taking it?
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay, so John Bates at Interstellar Barbecue is famous for this dish that's this peach tea brined pork belly bites. Clearly, that's what these are. He said that that's what these are, right? At what point does it become, do you have to say every time Interstellar's John Bates, da-da-da-da-da? Have you seen other people take, you know, someone else's inspiration?
Big Don's, which is a famous sort of barbecue joint out of Perth, I think they also have Interstellar's peach tea pork belly on their menu as well regularly. But I think from my point of view, if you've asked for permission and they've given it to you, then you can use it.
That's true. And I mean, look, a lot of barbecue now is, you know, Texas-style brisket, Carolina-style pulled pork. It's sort of like bits and pieces from here and there. But the shame of it is that everything else on this menu has a really Asian take, and then those sort of nearly seem out of place in that menu. So I'm not trying to like nitpick on it because it does look good and I'd be super happy to try it. It's just kind of something to keep an eye on. Like, at what point does the honor, like, hey, we're featuring this because I had them, should you reinterpret it and make it your own?
Maybe you could put your own twist on it. But for me, I'm so sick of getting a barbecue platter and for the most part, all the flavour profiles are the same. I almost want each thing on the menu to be distinctively different and flavoured different because sometimes you eat barbecue and then by the time you've finished eating it, it just all tastes the same to me.
Yeah, and there's a lot of homogeny now just in the sort of style of cooking things, especially the texture of brisket, now that people have really dialed that in.
Yeah.
If you have a platter, sometimes it can be hard to think of where it's from because it could be from so many places.
Yeah, but if I'm going from Texas to China to Vietnam to North Carolina and I'm doing it all on one plate, I'm a happy man.
But Billy Durney at Hometown Barbecue did that kind of thing. He's got like a jerk pork, and then he's got Oaxacan-style wood-fired chicken, and he's got Texas-style brisket. But he didn't have those by going to a specific barbecue joint and trying that and then going, I'm putting it on my menu. He sort of travelled and got inspired, which is what I like to do, and then took the flavours and applied it back home.
I don't think anyone's coming up with anything originally anymore. They're all inspired by something. They put their little twist to it, right? Which is what Bill Durney's probably done. But just because he's gone to a different country and then brought it back doesn't change the fact that he's still borrowing it from somewhere else.
That's true. Join me at Meatstock 2.0 in Texas.
All right, let's move on. We need to move on. Failed or nailed? I love this one, right? Because what happens is I put Sigh on the spot, I put a photo up. You've got to say failed or nailed straight away, right?
Okay.
Sometimes I've got to give you the context, but if I don't, you've just got to give me what it is, failed or nailed, and then we can talk about it.
All right.
Ready?
Yep. Failed. Is that a tree stump? That is wooden shingles, mate.
So what we're looking at is a brisket, and I think what's happened is the brisket has been sitting directly over the hot coals because the bottom is completely gone.
I would actually argue that is an AI generation of fiberglass in the shape of brisket because that's what it's giving. Those look painfully sharp.
So there's no credit to this one. It was posted on the internet.
I don't think anyone wants credit for that one, Jay.
So Nick in the comments says, that's not brisket, that's a bricket. And then
good.
PJ says, I could use that as wood to smoke a brisket.
100%. That is fossilized. He's made charcoal.
Okay, next.
I think that's actually nailed.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. So it was posted on the smoking meat community and it was titled, bought a cheap cut of chuck roast. I cooked it like a brisket. It turned out super juicy and tender, great flavour, and it didn't cost the earth.
I can see that. It's a beautiful chuck roast. I don't think they get that juicy. There's some leaner muscles in there amongst all the others. There's some also real tender muscles that don't necessarily need to be cooked like that. But it can be cheaper than brisket, especially because you can buy smaller quantities of it.
Yeah.
So this does really well if you do a smoke braise, nearly like a Thor's hammer. Like it needs that little bit of liquid to crush it. But that looks great.
I think it's about the same price as brisket, to be honest. So I don't think you're saving much money, but the benefit is you can get a much smaller cut so you're not buying a big cut and wasting it. But I will say that a lot of people use this for like pulled beef dishes.
Smash in a pie.
Okay, next.
Failed.
I'm so disappointed you said failed because I would love this.
Can I tell you what this looks like to me, Jay?
Yep.
This looks like someone got super high and then went to the fridge and went, what can I just make that's already in the fridge?
This looks like a lot of late night snacks of mine.
Exactly.
So it was posted by Vikings Aculio and it was titled Gliz Rito. It looks like a tortilla. It's got sausages, mustard.
Oh, I didn't see the tortilla.
Tortilla? So it's got a tortilla, sausages, mustard, hot sauce chips or crisps,
Yeah, it says hot barbecue.
and potato salad.
Okay.
If you rolled that all up, the texture of
Sorry,
the crisps.
I thought it was just a random plate that he didn't even bother to sort of separate.
No, this is a wrap.
I see that now and I give it a bit more credit. I love that he's put some texture in there. It's got all of the things. I changed my answer to nailed.
All right, let's move on. I've got a new one for you.
Yep.
You are known as like a bit of a meat expert, and credentially you are, right?
Yep.
What's the certificate
I've got a graduate certificate in meat science.
Okay, so I thought I'd put that to the test today with a brand new segment. You ready?
Yeah.
So it's called Steak or Tuna. Steak or tuna. So you've got to guess straight off the bat, is it steak or is it tuna?
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. Steak.
Okay.
Marbling. Gives it
It's-
away.
it's-
Marbling and grain.
It's a hard one to pick, but you picked it straight away.
Because the profoundness of the grain and mainly the marbling, tuna just doesn't have that intramuscular marbling like that.
So it was posted by Samoa TMT, and yes, it's steak.
Yes.
Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yep.
Quick.
Tuna.
Okay. So it was posted by Macadee, and you're right, it's tuna.
Yes. Do you want to know the giveaway?
The layers in the top part?
I was actually going to say the bottom half has those little threads coming out.
Yep.
And steak doesn't have that type of texture in the muscle fibre.
All right, I'll give you that one, but you have to be quicker next time.
All right, sorry.
All right, ready?
Yep. Steak.
Yep. So it was posted by Jokes52, and it is steak.
It's just terribly cooked.
So bad, isn't it?
That's a strip steak, or you'd call it a porterhouse or sirloin here in Australia. And that is disrespectful to the animal.
There's like no char on it whatsoever.
That fat is begging for some heat. Please put me next to the heat to render.
So Inert Oregon in the comments says it looks like you took it for a hot shower. And that's Brazy Buzzin says, did you cook it with a flashlight?
Oh, God. Oh.
All right, one more. Ready?
Yep. Tuna.
It is tuna.
Yes.
So Frank's Farmstead is the one that posted this one, and it is tuna. So you got 4 out of 4.
I guess I didn't go to school for nothing.
You can keep that fancy certificate of yours.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was good. That was a good one.
All right.
Because that second one was difficult.
Some of them are really tough.
Yeah.
Like that first one I thought would get you.
Nah.
Okay, I'm doubling down. You ready?
Another.
It's a new segment, another new one. It's called Raw, Rare, Medium, or Well Done.
Okay.
You've got to guess what it is.
Okay.
Okay, let's look at this first one here.
That is rare.
Rare? If you got rare, you would eat that?
Yeah.
Okay. It was posted by Osmosis Crypto, and it says, my friend ordered this $85 filet mignon at a steakhouse. What do you all think? It's definitely rare.
It's definitely rare. I think they were terrified of overcooking it, which is why. I mean, I'd be more concerned about the crust at that point. Like the complete lack of sear and Maillard reaction is sort of offensive. But could they please tell us which steakhouse it is so that we can also not go there?
Yeah, well, he doesn't say.
What do you reckon? You reckon that's raw?
No, I think it's rare. Look, I think if you're a chef these days cooking steaks, you must have some sort of PTSD, because how do you cope with all that? Like, every time I order a steak, it's a 50-50 chance that they've got it right. Like,
really?
Yeah. Like
that high?
Yes.
That's disappointing.
Like if I order medium or rare, if I order medium, sometimes I just order medium and it's like medium well or it's medium rare. Like I suppose there's 5 stops. It's probably 99% of the time they get it within one stop. But it's very, like 50-50 for me that they get it spot on. I like cut into it and I'm like, yep, this is exactly what I want.
I had this steak the other day in the steakhouse and they managed to nail, I think it was like 4 different donenesses in the one steak. So the edges were completely well done. Then the next few cuts got into medium and then it ended up like that gummy rare in the middle. And I thought, I'm not even mad. How talented of you to claim all of the donenesses in one. But I also was mad.
I'm going to say too that you probably go to nicer steakhouses than I do normally.
Yeah,
we
that was not
don't have
cheap.
many good ones in Port Macquarie.
You don't?
We've got maybe 1 or 2, but
You don't consider the Hog's Breath a fine establishment?
no. They'd have a 100% success rate of getting it wrong. All right, moving on to the next one.
Okay. That's going to be, ooh. Oh, okay, here's the problem, right? It looks raw in the muscle fibres, but the fat's properly rendered. So I'm going to say rare.
Rare? Okay. It was posted by Physical Being and they said, to which degree do you think that this is cooked? It's a tough one.
Hang on. I'm going to say to the rare side of medium rare, there's an amazing crust on that steak. You just can't see it. And this is the problem. It has direct sunlight on it that is changing the appearance of the meat too. It looks like it's been vacuum seal wet aged. That can change the texture of the fibres. I know I'm getting really nerdy. The point is, do you know how many times I've struggled with what I know is a perfectly medium rare steak, both from feel and because it temped that way, and then I've gone to cut it and I'm like, where is the colour? And it just did not look the way I wanted it to. And sometimes this opposite happens. This has been properly cooked. You can tell from the fat. I think it's just the light playing tricks on us.
Yeah,
so
well,
medium rare.
That chart is quite nice.
It is.
So Saraka God in the comments said, this is medium raw.
No.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. I think this one's going to trip you up. Ready? Quick.
Well done.
There's a lot of pink in the middle.
That's a nice pile of mesquite, Jay.
So it was posted by H. Smith and he says, do these look medium or medium rare? And what we're looking at is a pile of lumber, but if you kind of squint enough, maybe they look like the centre cut of a steak.
It looks like mesquite.
They do have a nice crust though.
They do. Great bark.
Okay. We need to get on to something serious now, and that is the news. Now, this is a big one, and it's an important one. It's going to take some time to get through, and that is the top 50 was released probably maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago well, it's pretty recent from when we're...
It's like 4 days ago.
Yeah.
Often when we're recording.
But when you guys are going to see it, it might have been 2 weeks ago, but it's pretty recent for us, right? And it's a big deal. So
huge deal.
There are 3,226 barbecue restaurants in Texas, according to ChatGPT. And it was someone's job to whittle that down to just 50. And his name is Daniel Vaughn. And the publication that he produces this list in is called the Texas Monthly. Now, you live in Texas. How big of a deal is this magazine?
This is a huge deal. I would argue that it's huge outside of Texas. Daniel is the first ever full-time barbecue journalist. That was a big deal when he got taken from he was an architect that blogged on the side, and then they turned him into this full-time barbecue journo. The list, I think this is their 7th iteration now, but it is the definitive. It changes businesses. It gives pitmasters the the assurity that they wanted that they're on track and doing the right thing. It breaks a lot of hearts as well.
Yeah.
And it's been really hard because when they started like really getting popular with the list, and I would say that the list blew up when Daniel went full time. They'd had it for a while. It comes out every 3 years. But Daniel sent it next level, and that's when people started to really pay attention, because in the past he would be wading through some pretty okay stuff to then cherry pick the best. So you could ignore a lot of the top 50.
Yeah.
But now it's so tough. Like there have been so many joints open up and the standard has increased so much overall that it's a tough job.
Yeah. Well, I would say 15 years ago, there was barbecue everywhere in Texas, but good barbecue was hard to come by.
100%.
But 15 years later, today, there's great barbecue everywhere.
Yes, and there's not that much difference in the brisket of the great barbecue places. That's what I reckon.
I agree. Well, let's go through. This is the cover on the right here of the latest one. But before we get through it, I'm a graphic designer, right? The latest cover, it's fine. I just wanted to point out this previous cover, and I think it's from 2 lists ago, and it was from when Franklin Barbecue won. But as a graphic designer, I just wanted to point out before we get into it, that is the best cover of any publication or magazine, and I've produced thousands of magazines. That's what I do for a living. Maybe not thousands. Yeah, no.
A lot.
A lot.
It's been a lot.
I probably produced at least over 500 magazines I produced. I've designed hundreds of pages as a graphic designer. Publishing is what I do for a living. That is the best cover of anything I've ever seen anywhere, just because of the creativity of it.
And I saw a behind the scenes on this. I don't know if you can tell. They actually recreated that with like a syringe full of barbecue sauce. They did not, it's not just generated.
They did such a good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that they overlaid the food on it or what have you. And this is, of course, Aaron Franklin's iconic blue tray. So that's part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the one before this was a bit questionable. So they don't even need to worry about the cover now. You don't understand. In Texas, the buzz has been Memorial Day weekend. It's coming, it's happening. There were people who were posting the night before. It's our last sleep before we find out where we are on the list.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. So let's go through the stats, right?
Yep.
They visited personally 319 different barbecue joints. It took them 14 weeks. So they took it pretty seriously. Like this lasted for 3 months. There was 26 people involved in the tastings, and this is their 7th list since 1997.
Yeah.
And it's done every 4 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, it's every 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I said 3 in the video, but
I
I think
said
it's 4.
3. Okay. Yeah. I felt like 3. Maybe I'm wrong.
I could be wrong too. But someone did correct me in a previous video and said it was 4, and I said it was 3.
I think it used to be 4 and they changed it to 3. But look, whatever it is, it's not every year. That's all you need to know. I don't think it's Olympic status.
So let's get into it.
Okay.
This is the very pointy end, right? So last year's winner, Goldies, came in 3rd. Leroy and Lewis Barbecue came in number 2, and Burnt Bean Co. number 1. It's a pretty good 1 and 2, right?
It's an exceptional 1 and 2. And here's the thing. Leroy and Lewis also were the only barbecue joint to get a Michelin star recently.
Yeah.
There's a lot that got nods. They were the only one to get a star. Ernest at Burnt Bean Co. is an incredible chef. He's been James Beard Award nominated. That's also a big deal in culinary. And this makes a lot of sense. He works his bum off. He's in a small Texas town that he has, I would say, sort of really refreshed. Like the buzz around people going to Seguin now is because of Burnt Bean. He changes his menu up, innovative dishes. It is an absolute delight. I think he has a special breakfast menu on the weekends. It's not just the same thing over and over again. That cover that we saw from Franklin, that doesn't cut it anymore. Like 5 proteins and classic sides doesn't cut it anymore. And this list shows us why.
Well, it's the biggest thing to happen to Seguin since the big pecan.
The big pecan. Do you know what the big
I was so disappointed when I went and saw it.
Because it's about that big and it's made out of fiberglass. I'm sorry, I could have warned you.
It was terrible.
It's not great.
Okay. Let's segue into talking a little bit about both of these, right? Because me and you do have a little bit of history with some of these people, right? So I want to go through and set the scene of Ernest as a person, right? So forget the barbecue, forget the list, right? But back in 2018, I think I've told this story on the podcast before, but I went to the World Food Championships. I walked around. There was over 100 teams. Before he had his own restaurant, he was a competitive barbecuer, right?
Do you know he was one of the first people that we sponsored when we did sponsor a team, and he used to use Hardcore Red?
Good on him.
Yeah.
No. So we walked around this event, and if you've ever been to a big barbecue competition, they've all got big trailers and everyone hides in their trailers. They don't really want to socialise. So me and a friend called Adam Roberts, we walked around this whole pit yard maybe 30 times trying to make conversations with people. And eventually Ernest, and I think he was with Fred Robles at the time, who's Champions Barbecue League, I think it's called. They said, come over. What are you guys doing? Chat to us. And so me and Adam spent the rest of the weekend chatting to these guys. They couldn't have been any nicer. They posed for photos. They gave us a lot of information. We took videos with them. This is back in 2018. This is before he's a superstar, right? So he just showed us so much hospitality that he didn't have to, because he is that nice guy, right?
And he looks like such a mean mug photo here. He is the kindest, sweetest, most generous, welcoming person. Like a lot of, as you would know, a lot of bearded barbecue guys in black T-shirts often belie how lovely they actually are.
Yeah. And so I met him again in Brazil at Churrascada. Now, that hat he's wearing on the left, he took that off his head and gave it to me as we walked past at some point, because I said, I want to get one of those hats.
That's awesome.
And so he remembered at some point. He's like, I'm going to get you one out of the car, because I think he had one in his bag or whatever. But by the end of the evening, he'd forgotten. But he's like, boom, this is yours. And he gave me that hat. I should be wearing it now, but I'm not. He's just that guy.
Yeah.
You know, you can talk to him about anything. He's very knowledgeable. He's passionate. And
he's humble too.
Correct. He's so humble.
Yeah. So I guess what we're saying is the food deserves it, and it's also nice when the human being behind the food is just a stand-up example of a human being.
Correct. So he came with Super Dave to Meat Stock this year. The point that you made that I want to make as well is, if you've ever met either of them, there's no one really in barbecue, cooking barbecue as good as he is, that deserves it as much as they do.
Yeah.
I just feel like that. I just feel like it couldn't have gone to better people.
That's the thing, right? Like it's a feel-good moment all the way around. The food deserves it. The people deserve it. Great location as well. It's just like it's a tick, 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 or as they say in the States, a check, check, check.
Yeah. No,
have either.
I agree. All right. We're segueing on to a different one now, and you can tell me all about this one.
That's an old photo. That is Evan Leroy on the left, and that is me in the green. And this was taken at the Carnivores Ball in Melbourne, which is an event that I used to run back in the day. We had some in Melbourne, Sydney, and Austin. That's Peter Boucher, Butcher to the Stars. I brought Evan out to Australia, I think it was in 2015. This was the last ball before I moved to the States. He came out and he was sort of like, he was cooking at Friedman's at the time in Austin, and he was their head pitmaster. He was from Texas, went to Florida for university where he met his now wife, Lindsay. Then they moved to New York together, and he was cooking at a barbecue restaurant in New York for a little while just because he was Texan. Eventually they found their way home. He got a job. I think he graduated from the Culinary Institute of America. He was a trained chef. And then he gets a job running this joint called Friedman's, which was one of those first new school places in Austin. He taught me how to trim a brisket. We, chatted and kept in touch, and I ended up bringing him out to cook the ball. He also did a masterclass while he was there. And one of his signatures is the boated brisket in foil. So instead of wrapping, as everyone was, in butcher paper at the time, he does this boat method where he brings the foil across the flat and to the sides. After he came here, you will find a lot of Australians and Americans, but you can kind of trace it back to that, who started cooking in that method. And that's Evans. He pioneered that. And so he also used to make this smoked chocolate mousse, which was insanely good, that I hope he'll bring back one day.
I know a lot of people that cook with this boat method.
That's his.
So that's where it came from.
And 2015 was when he brought it to Australia, so you can literally trace it back. But he went from Friedman's, then they moved into a trailer, which is I think what you're seeing here.
That trailer was tiny.
It was, but it was gorgeous, but it was tiny. That's when it became Leroy and Lewis. And they just ground at it he kept missing the list as well. Like he'd left, Friedman's was opened right after one of the lists was published, and then he left Friedman's right before the next list came out. So he kept missing that Texas Monthly Top 50 list. Finally opened in a brick and mortar within the last year.
Yeah.
And they have, he's just come into his own. He's done really innovative things. Working with local proteins really important to him. I have a personal story beyond Carnival's Ball, which is when I moved to the States, States in 2015, Evan and Lindsay were the ones that I lived with, like when I was trying to find a house. So I lived with them for 3 months when I first moved there. And those are our dogs. That's my dog Ancho on the right and Star on the left. And I still babysit Star from time to time. And they ended up being like little dog sisters. So it's funny because I was looking for a photo with Evan. He's one of those people, it's nearly like you. You and I are such good friends and we barely have any photos together because you just don't think about taking a photo and capturing that moment because you're like, oh, well, we're going to be friends forever, so it doesn't matter. Evan has worked his bum off. I know him and I can tell you he deserves this.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to them both.
Absolutely.
And like just knowing them both, couldn't be prouder, knowing how important this list is and what it means for their futures and their businesses, and to see what it's done for places like Snows and Franklin's to hit so high up on this list. And it's a validation of everything they've worked so hard for, but it's also going to boost their businesses for the next God knows how long.
So that's the only downside to the list, right, Jay? Like the problem is that as soon as that list comes out, if you thought that they were busy beforehand, don't plan on visiting any of the top 10 for the next good 6 months at least. And it's not like I'm trying to deter your business from them. Ernest posted a picture before the list came out of the lines around the block in Seguin, like around the block. The restaurant is up by those traffic lights all the way around the corner, and now he's number one. Good luck. Take a lawn chair, people. It's going to be a little bit of a wait.
Okay, so that brings me to our next point, right? And that's that there is so many people in barbecue, in restaurants right now. Going from 3,000 down to 50, you're never going to make everybody happy. People are going to be disappointed. But what I did want to say is if you didn't make the list or you didn't feature up as high as you thought you were going to be, but you've still got a lineup out the door, you've still got regular customers, Snows and Franklin's would be the perfect example. You don't need to change nothing.
No, you don't. And the thing is, it may not even necessarily be that your quality slipped. It may be that it's such a competitive market and there's so many new places opening. It is a tough job, and I'm sure it's tough for Daniel as well. He's befriended a lot of people over the years and he's got a job to do as well, and not everyone can be a winner. There's only 50 spots and 3,000 restaurants.
Yeah, but I do feel like barbecue is evolving. Daniel's evolving with it. And if you're busy, then don't change anything. Stay busy, right? You don't need to chase this unicorn of trying to future school your barbecue or third wave your barbecue, right? Or figure out how you're going to up your sides. If you're already busy, you don't need to do anything. Yeah,
I think that's the point. Like, I wouldn't say it's a popularity contest because there's something, of an achievement that comes along with it. At the end of the day, if you're successful and you've got a barbecue joint with enough customers to keep yourself running, that's all you need. You're doing what you love and you're getting paid for it.
Yep. All right. Let's segue on to something a bit fun now. It's bark or burnt.
Ooh.
Now, I do like this one because I try and catch Sigh out. That's my plan, is to try and trick him.
Do you reckon that you'll be able to trick me?
I'm hoping I will. I haven't yet, but I'm hoping I'm going to get you with one so I can just be like, take the little shine off, right? Let's get into this first one here. The video was posted by Stefanoli, and he's from South Brixia Barbecue. We've featured them on the show before. We're going to play this video. They've got a great Instagram if you get a chance.
Okay.
Watch the video and then talk me through it and tell me whether it's bark or burnt.
Ooh. No, that's mahogany. That's not burnt. That's bark. That is bark.
What's happening?
These look like pork butts in the smoker. There's a lot of smoke. There's a lot of really white smoke in here.
There's a lot of dirty smoke.
There's a lot of dirty smoke in there, which probably has something to do with the bark. It may have a bit of an acrid flavour, but it is bark nonetheless. It's indirect heat, can't be burnt. What do you reckon?
I reckon the colour's spot on for me. I mean, I love bark on barbecue.
Me too.
If barbecue doesn't have bark, I don't want it.
What's the point?
Yes.
I think those look good. I would eat them. I know it's a little bit far for some people, and I'm a bit worried about the smoke, but you're going to get better chunks of bark through your pulled pork that way.
Okay, so not burnt.
Not burnt.
Okay, instant reaction to the next one.
Okay. Burnt. Burnt.
This was posted by Mike Guts, and he says, tried some burnt ends, turned out well.
Can I tell you what that is? That is half a pile of steak mixed with half a pile of Kingsford briquettes that someone has tossed together. That's what that is. That is cut into squares.
It's a little bit deceiving because half of it's like, yeah, you can get away with that, and the other half is dead set burnt.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard pass.
So, Mike, I don't think it turned out too well, mate.
No, but listen, if Mike liked it, then that's all that counts.
Good. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Bark.
It's close though, isn't it?
I reckon that's a black rub. I reckon that's the black rub.
Random Reddit guy, that's his name, he says, is this crust too burnt for a pan sear? It's been a while since I touched the cast iron. If you had to guess, what does it look like on the inside?
There's every chance that is perfectly cooked on the inside because you've got that little area right in the middle there that's not quite as aggressively seared. And if he has used the black rub, it'll be perfect.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Ding ding. I think he's done pretty well. It looks absolutely fantastic.
Sorry, I just deadpanned at the camera and winked a little bit and felt like I had to. Go ahead.
If that is a black rub, that's a perfect steak for me. If it's not a black rub, I think it might have gone a little bit too far on the char.
There's no way that you can have it cooked that well in the middle and not either use a black rub or something with sugar in it to physically burn the outside.
Yep.
Unless he's cooking over like the world's hottest stove that got his cast iron up to like 700 degrees Fahrenheit and then he moved it onto the other side. I mean, the fat looks pretty well rendered also. Like it's a little bit opaque still, but I mean, I'd eat it, Jay.
Yep.
I'd eat it
So would I.
happily.
Next. Remember, this is an instant reaction.
Okay. Burnt. That's my instant reaction.
This is where I might have tripped you up, I reckon, because this last one, it's posted by Johnson McJoe, and he goes, is this burnt? It's a steak dinner with the wife. Now, I would have said the same thing. These look burnt to me, right? I think it is a black rub just because of the texture on the top, but it's so black that I think he's either over-seasoned it with too much black rub or it's burnt. But I want to show you the next photo.
Hang on. Before you show me, can I tell you what concerns me? Mm-hmm. I can see the black rub on the board now because you would not normally have that. And my concern is, did he put the cooked steaks on the board that the raw steaks were seasoned on? And also, who gets the ribeye on the right? Because that's the one that I want.
All right. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do the reveal.
That's medium, but that's a black rub. That's black rub.
It's a black rub. I don't think it's burnt.
I don't think it's burnt either. And I think, you know what? That's that light again. That's that light playing tricks. That looked from the angle of things to be much darker than it is.
But it's still a pretty well-cooked steak.
We've all had those moments.
Okay, we've got some mail.
Yay!
I love the mailbox. I've got one for us today.
Okay.
I've saved a few for Sigh when he comes back in the studio, but I've got one today and it's pretty cool. So I'm going to read it out here. It was sent to us by Pavel, and he says, hey, I'm from Poland. I'm a great fan of the show. I'm trying to popularise the low and slow style here, taking inspiration from the USA and Australia with no experience whatsoever, only helped by a few tips from the internet. Please rate the setup that we built with my brother-in-law. So what he's asking us to do is rate a pit that he has built with his brother-in-law. Now, keep in mind, this guy doesn't have... He's getting everything from the internet. I don't think Poland has a barbecue culture. And full confession, I'm part Polish, by the way. So.
I've been to Poland and cooked with the barbecue boys there.
Okay.
And gal. And I will say they are the largest beef producer in Europe, but they're getting there on barbecue.
Okay. There's a culture for me.
It's like a real niche underground culture, but it's there.
Okay. So this is what he's built.
All right. So we've got a trailer. We've got it looks like a pretty typical offset smoker. You got your counterweight up there. I don't know if it's missing a stack, if he hasn't finished the stack, or if the stack comes off so that you can transport it. That's pretty small, and it looks like it's a reverse flow as well.
Yeah. So I'd say it's a reverse flow, but he hasn't got the stack on it yet because he hasn't got the handle to open the door on it yet either. So it's probably the photo was taken still in construction.
There you go.
But this is the final product. He's got a grill on one side and the smoker on the other, and that stack is on there now.
Oh, I see that. I love that surface area on that grill. I could see some stuff on there, and he's got what that looks like his air intake on the front there. It looks like a good time. Well done to you.
Yeah, I think he's done a smashing job. So this is him, Pavel. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, mate. Well done.
All right.
You should learn, Jay, if you're part Polish, you can't say congratulations in Polish.
Well, dzień dobry, I don't know what that means.
Dzień dobry.
Yeah, correct. I just remember my grandparents using that term when I was a kid, and I can't even believe I remembered it because it's like maybe 40 years since I used it as a kid.
That's impressive.
But having said that, does that mean hello or goodbye?
I don't remember. I know one word in Polish. I don't know what it means. I know it's something good, but it's like the ultimate Polish word, and it's przemnie.
Okay. Well, I hope we've got that right.
It's not, that word's right. I just can't. I know it's not a swear word, but yeah.
Well, I'm bummed I haven't been there because it's on my bucket list. I really want to go tick it off, but I haven't been there. I haven't visited part of the motherland, I guess.
You need to go.
So moving on to some outdoor kitchens, and this one really caught my eye. I think you're going to like it.
Am I going to have some envy here?
Maybe. I love cooking outdoors.
Me too. Out in the sun or like perfect. My perfect time is right at dusk as things have started to cool down. The sun's in that golden hour. The smoke's billowing through the trees. That's a good time.
It's a good time. You know when it's not a good time is when it's raining and you've got to pack everything away and you've got to clean everything.
Yeah, the cleaning's not fun.
All right. So moving on. This is a modular outdoor kitchen and I reckon it's awesome.
Flash. I like that a lot because realistically, love barbecues, but also love aesthetics. And the idea of being able to neatly close everything away to also protect it from the elements in a chic little hut is nice.
So if someone couldn't see this, how would you explain it?
I would say that it's an outdoor barbecue closet.
It is. You've got that nailed. And so when you open the doors, there's a sink, there's a barbecue, and there's also
a grill,
a fridge and a grill.
Yep.
You've got enough room to put drinks and utensils and
accessories.
And then when you're done, you just got to close the doors and you're done.
That's really smart. And, you know, it looks like England based on the proximity to other houses. And I feel like that's a great solution for a smaller backyard as well.
So it was posted by Jodie Critchen, and she says, this is our first barbecue pod, and it's by a company called AOS Outdoor Kitchens based in the UK. So before they started building these pods, they did custom outdoor kitchens, and these look fantastic.
I would be so stoked to have that and to cook in that.
So would I.
Right?
So this is some other work that they've done. This is another one.
It's beautiful. I love the integration of the wood. It's like it looks fantastic as well.
And that's a Traeger built into the bench.
Yeah, you can get Pits and Spits is the smoker that I cook on, and they do a special type of smoker if you want to integrate it into a kitchen. So a lot of companies will do it and have the ability to do it if you are looking to build your own.
Well, personally speaking, for me, pellet grills is what I'm cooking on a lot at the moment because it's just time poor.
Yeah.
And I just want to put something on and then leave it. But built into a nice, aesthetically pleasing kitchen like this is like ticks all the boxes for me.
Do you know what I'm impressed with? That they found the 3 days a year that it's not raining in the UK to take all these photos.
All right, so that's what it is there. I think you might be able to buy these as a prefabricated pod. So check out AOS Outdoor Kitchens in the UK.
Yeah, good job.
Rightio, we're getting towards the end of the show and it's on the menu. You've had to cook.
I have.
Yeah.
I'm up for the challenge.
But the truth is we're recording while we have to cook, so it's kind of hard to do anything complicated. But you've made a simple recipe that I think is going to be easy to follow and it's pretty tasty, right?
Yeah, and it's corn.
So tell me what's happening here.
I decided to, I smoked these, but you could grill them as well. Some whole corn on the cob, just over charcoal. Then you take some Flaming Hots. In the States, these would be Cheetos. Here, I could find Doritos. That's fine. You just have to crush them up super fine, probably even more than I did here. You want to get like a kind of a powder out of it. And then you dump that onto a plate. You grab the corn and you brush it with mayonnaise. And even if you don't like mayo, don't worry, because it basically melts into the hot corn and tastes just like butter, and it's easier to spread than butter. And then you roll it in those crumbs of crushed Flaming Hots. And it sort of creates this crust. And yeah, it's very simple. That's the brushing part of it. Just roll it just like that. And it's got a big impact. Looks great, easy to put together, great barbecue side dish because it's got that big impact. And you don't even have to do the fancy husks like I did. That's just a presentation thing. It's not like you're going to eat them.
All right, well, we are going to eat them. So
yeah, not the husk, I mean.
No.
You're not going to eat the husk.
Bring them out.
Da, 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 da.
They look pretty good.
I've never tried the corn chip version because we have the Cheeto version, which is like the puffed potato thing or rice thing. I think that this could be an interesting flavour challenge.
Okay. Well,
Texture.
I feel like it might taste very similar, but obviously the texture's different.
Yeah, it's going to be messy.
Okay. I do think they look good, though.
Smells great.
Ready?
It's corn on corn.
It's corn chips on corn. All right.
It's really good.
It's so good. It's corn with texture.
They actually do a style of this in Mexico.
They do,
have
but
that
it's a lot more complicated than this.
sort of. They also put like a ton of other stuff on top, like queso fresco and cilantro and stuff, coriander. It just works. It's such a simple, easy little thing.
All right, I'll notch that up as a win. We're on to our encore. It's the last part of the show. I'm going to throw up a photo here that you've never seen before, and you've got to tell me what's going on. Ready?
Okay. Yep. Truck's on fire? No. Truck got made into awesome fire pit situation. But I want to put a grill on top. That looks awesome. Mater, what have you done?
So it was posted by Australian Outback Photography, and it's from the Tobermory Station Roadhouse and Caravan Park in the Northern Territory of Australia.
Awesome.
And he says, how's this for a barbecue? Now, I didn't see it at the time, but if you look at where the engine bay sits, I think it's a flat plate.
Okay.
So
that makes sense. Wait.
There would be a fire where the engine is?
Can you zoom back out for a second? Are they something is burning out of those stacks? Do you see that?
Yeah.
So does that mean that he's put a smoker where the engine is? Like that's where I wonder where that's it, where the fire is, and then it comes through the cab. Maybe there's meat in the cab of the truck. and this is throwing us off at the back there.
Well, I don't know where the smoke comes from the stacks, but I think you're onto something. There's something happening under there.
Yeah.
I just thought there was a hot plate where the engine is, and they were just making the wood in the back tray. But there's something more to this, I think.
There is. It's not gonna. I'm not going to see it on cars anytime soon.
Okay, that's the end of the episode.
Aw.
I've enjoyed myself.
I just love talking to you. We could do this for hours.
Yeah, so it's kind of fun. We get to talk about some serious stuff and some not so serious stuff, but it's all related to the kind of culture of barbecue, which is a culture that me and you are heavily invested in. I kind of like it. I
love it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Because you're Sigh.
Yeah, today.
Do you know what he says at the end of every episode?
I do. See you next Tuesday.